let's talk about you and your career, because to discuss this book, we really need to go back to this interesting arc that you had, which is the beginning. It's you want to do stand-up. You want to do stand-up comedy. You're a performer. And then you have this audition for Jim Henson. Yeah. And I have to ask you about this because, it's fascinating to me. And you claim that this audition with Jim Henson is the reason you decided to not pursue stand-up anymore. Is that true?
It certainly was a key linchpin of the decision. But I was living with Adam Sandler in the Valley. We had this little apartment, and Adam would be on MTV every once in a while, or the Cosby Show was, one of the Theo's friends, and there was this audition to be on a pilot where a couple of comedians would travel across the country, and they were going to give the comedians cameras and their own video cameras right at the beginning of when that seemed exciting. Like, we'll give them a camera and they'll shoot it themselves. And so all these people were handing in their auditions that they would make themselves. And so me and Sandler went down to the beach with my grandmother and made some weird, I don't know what we did. And then I had a list of ideas of things you could maybe do on the show. And I find out later that I didn't get it, but then they say to me, but he'd like to buy all your ideas. And then they said, but he didn't want you because he thought you lacked warmth.
First of all, why tell you? Oh, and one more thing before you hang up.
and I just thought, this guy as Kermit taught me to read. Like this is the warmest man. It's like Kermit telling you to fuck off.
That's so great.
But in a way, I think he was right. Like I was probably repressed and self-conscious, and like he was smart enough to go, like I could feel it when I was around Sandler or Jim Carrey as a kid. Like they are just way looser than me and just charismatic, and I'm just like in my head. So I think it hurt me because I'm like, he got me. He knows I'm too shut down right now. And so then when writing opportunities came up, I thought, well, Jim Henson thought I should be a writer. I would just take the writing opportunities and do less of the performing things.
I always think.
And then he died.
Yeah.
Like not long after that. So I'm like.
Before he could take it back.
Yeah. I was so upset about it. And I'm just like, oh, God, what does he know? This jerk. And then they're like, he's dead. I'm like, oh, like he's the most important person in a young person's life. Sesame Street. I mean, I put in 1 billion hours watching it. So
also,
yes,
he sounded like Kermit when he spoke, which makes it even worse because it's Kermit saying you don't have warmth. You don't seem like a warm person to me.
You lack warmth.
Yeah, you lack warmth. You're just not warm.
Fuck off and die. Yeah. Go shine your shoes, you mutt.
Yeah, I didn't get to clean it up with him later.
I'm fascinated by the leap to directing. What made you think, oh no, I will direct?
Well, I went to college and studied screenwriting and took some directing classes, and I was just so terrible. My films, I mean, if I think about them, I won't sleep at night. About that, I showed them to people.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't even believe that the two pieces of film you would tape together, that you would see them and it would like change images. I was like a 4-year-old, and so I lost confidence in my ability to do it. I also had an irrational fear that I would get the eye lines wrong. And I would cut a movie together and everyone would be looking in the wrong direction. like that probably made me not do it for 10 years, was an irrational fear of eye lines.
It is a real problem in your films. I've gone back. Even your biggest hits, no one's looking in the right direction. It's very distracting.
I mean, and even now I don't know what the lenses do. I always have to hire Janusz Kaminski to shoot it because I'm so bad that I need a really smart person. So I delayed it. When we did the Ben Stiller show, I never pushed to direct any of the sketches. I just was so afraid. And then I was working at Larry Sanders, and then one day Gary Shandling literally just walked in my office and goes, "You're doing next week."
Great.
Off of nothing.
Great.
No conversation.
He threw you into the deep end of the pool.
Yeah. Immediately, and came down to set and helped me and was so helpful.
Yeah.
And so that was the first time that I ever did it, and I just had to figure it out. And then we did Freaks and Geeks, and I did a bunch of those.
Yeah.
And a bunch of Undeclareds.
So your confidence is growing.
Yeah.
But once you start working with a huge budget and it's a movie, how terrified were you with what was your first directing experience in a movie?
Well, I just worked as a producer on Anchorman.
Yeah.
And that was McKay's first time directing a movie. And so it was really fun to be there and watch Adam go through the experience. And Adam was very improvisational. And so in addition to this amazing script he wrote with Will, he was doing what Stiller was doing, which is a lot of like playing in addition to the script. So when we were doing the 40-Year-Old Virgin, I thought, okay, I'm gonna do that. Even with the dramatic scenes, I think there's something good could come out of riffing. But I remember like 2 days before we were gonna start shooting, I was just really nervous, and it's also Carell's the lead. So I'm going like, I think this is the guy.
Yeah.
And I watched a TV show that Steve was on, like a sitcom that had been canceled, and they were burning off the episodes, like a terrible show. And 2 nights before we started shooting, I just watched an episode, and I watched Steve, and I went, oh, this could be that bad. Like, if I don't do a good job, I could make Steve look so bad, because this show made Steve look bad, and Steve's a genius.
Yeah.
And it really like scared me to my core. Like, oh, there's a way to really be a terrible director. And so I just shot so much footage, like 1 million feet of film. I had Steve and everybody improvising for hours. The crew hated me. They were so bored. Like it was the crew from The Unforgiven. It was literally Clint Eastwood's crew.
Oh my
And guess
God.
what? Clint Eastwood famously is a one-take director.
Oh my
Do a
God.
take, and he has famously like, well, it's 5 o'clock. Everyone go home now. They love Clint, and then you come along.
Yeah, and I'm
That's
like,
fantastic.
and I'm doing like 3 hours of improv on like Steve peeing with a boner.
Yeah.
You know, and the whole crew would look at me like, I can't believe this. And the DP, when he saw the finished movie, he just said to me, oh, now I see what you were doing. But they really did look annoyed, and that kind of made me scared. But I just thought, I just have to go into editing knowing that if it's not working, I have other stuff to fix it with.
You know, it's interesting. Whenever someone has a great success, they can actually send the wrong signal to other people. And I think one of the things you did is you made these terrific movies. You got all these really funny people. And yes, you had a good script, but you're also letting them play. You've got a deep bench. You're trying different combinations of things. And I think people started to watch your early films and think, oh, yeah, it's just letting people riff.
Yeah.
And you think, well, if it's Judd and he's got all of his people and he knows exactly what he wants to get, yeah. Do you know what I mean? But I think other people who don't know that world took that as, oh, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
And then I remembered seeing just a ton of comedies where they would just let, people who shouldn't be riffing, Walter Cronkite and Dame Edna, and they'd be it would be painful.
Yeah, because if you can tell an actor thinks they're being funny, it instantly is awful. Like if there's any self-awareness of like, this is really working. And so the cockiness of doing improv well, even if the jokes are good, like takes you out of the scene. It only really works if people are so deep in character that when you're in editing, it could seem seamless, almost like a documentary. Like when
Right.
it works, it's like, oh, this was like a documentary of peeking in on people. And when it doesn't work, it looks like someone thinks they're hilarious. And then that creeps you out, like you can't have that.